choice. Do we buy fonts?
Generally, you license font. It's just like music. Somebody else owns the rights and you purchase a license and that license has permission.
So I purchase a license to get the permission of using this font in a particular
Mhm.
way. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Music companies say buy. They have the buy button and you're not buying the rights to the music. So,
No. But then we already have a lot of fonts available at our hands. For example, when I look at my computer, there are a lot of fonts. Who bought these fonts then or licensed them? Can't I just use them on my computer for whatever I want?
so in most cases, the operating system or some software package license them. And you do have limited use, but probably not for commercial purposes, though sometimes it's very tricky and complicated. And one of the things that's really weird is that the way operating system software treats fonts is basically like plugins. We have no digital rights management
Hmm.
really to speak of. And if, for instance, Microsoft Office and wants to give you access to Helvetica, it may just show up as a system font and you can't tell that it's the way that it's licensed.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't trust it. The fact that something is on your computer, you need to scrutinize it. And you're not
Yeah.
always going to be able to figure out how you got it. So the odds are you should just get a license. The most dependable thing is Adobe Fonts.
Yes.
If you have a Creative Cloud license, they don't give you direct access to the font files, but everything you can physically do, including access it in other software packages, is covered under the
Hmm.
license. And sometimes that license contradicts the license that the Foundry grants directly. When it does, it's usually more broad. So
Okay.
there are some font foundries that, don't allow broadcast use, for
Hmm.
instance.
Yeah, yeah,
It is allowed if you access the font through Adobe Fonts, and they
yeah.
all have the same license. That is a really good way if you're doing a small project where you don't have the budget, but you already have an Adobe Creative Cloud license. That's a good way to ensure.
So should the client license the fonts for their website?
Most font foundries will allow you to get the license yourself. Do not do that. You should insist that your client get the license because you don't want to be caught in the middle. If you say you fire your client because they're awful, that's the kind of client who might go pirate some extra styles or vastly exceed their traffic. The foundry will
Hmm.
contact the client if there's a violation, but then the client can say, well, our web developer bought this license, go talk to them. Other foundries come to me sometimes because I'm known as a license enforcement expert, and they say, what do I do? And the answer is, if you really did allow the developer to buy the license on their own, there's not much you can do. They
Hmm.
probably don't have the money. They're probably not going to be able to pay you, and you're never going to be able to collect from the end client because, the whole reason this mess exists in the first place is because they were a terrible client. Again, I don't think about what happens when things are done right. I think about what happens when things are done wrong.